Everyone, welcome to another video. I want to talk about something today which really frustrated me earlier this year. I never got a chance to make a video about it, but here I am talking about the situation I was in. So, I got my H1b in October of 2020 for the first time when I was working for Wilming Construction. The second time I got my H1b was when I'm switching from Wilming Construction to DPR Construction. That's my current company. Whenever you're switching your companies or whenever you're getting your H1b for the first time, since I am on a F1 visa and I had a stamping on my passport which said F1 visa and not H1b, if I had to leave the country, I had to get a stamp on my passport which said H1b. The funny thing is that I could literally work for the entirety of H1b visa duration for 3 years and never get a stamp and still stay in the US. But if I leave the country, I have to get that stamp. Just a very dumb administrative thing. The frustrating part is that because of COVID and because of the embassy working on really few people, like I think 30 or 40% capacity, because last time I remember also my parents went, my sister went last year. So before COVID, it was 10 to 12 visa officers, and after COVID, it has been like really 3 or 4 of them. The frustrating part is that you wouldn't get those H1b stamping appointments. So let me tell you the whole story. May of 2021, I got my H1b visa through DPR Construction, and I wanted to travel to India because I haven't had any chance to travel because of COVID. So I was also getting married, as you guys saw in the last video. Thanks a lot for all of the wishes you guys did on that video. Thank you so much for just kind words and nice wishes. But I wanted to go to India for my wedding, and at that time I was planning to get the stamping done as well. I started my DS-160 process back in October, not even October, like kind of before that. September, I started my DS-160. I submitted my DS-160 and I started looking for an appointment. It took me 2.5 months, or actually more than that. I got my visa appointment for 9th of March. Not before that, 9th of March. Like 2.5 months after after I started looking for the appointments. And that's a long time. That's really stressful. Now, of course, if you have an emergency, you can get an emergency appointment, but that was not the case for me. So, like, I go through the process, I apply for my DS-160, I get the visa appointment, and my visa appointment is 9th March. My wedding was 5th February. I was intending to come back on 15th of February, but due to my visa appointment being delayed, I had to stay in India. The system is really dumb because while I was looking for the visa appointments, that was the only option available, and there was no Dropbox system. After getting the appointment, I think I got the appointment on 11th of December. After getting the appointment, literally 3 weeks later, the Dropbox appointment thing came up. I started looking whether I should cancel my appointment and get the Dropbox appointment or not. And a lot of people said that if you already have a visa appointment, do not get the Dropbox appointment. That is just not ideal. So I stayed with my original H1b appointment. My OFC appointment, which is the fingerprinting, was on the 6th of March, and then my visa appointment was on the 9th of March. For everybody who knows, H1b and any kind of visa appointments are scary if you have to face the visa officer, right? During F1, they ask you questions like which college you're planning to go for, why are you going for this particular university, why this college, why this subject, all of these dumbass questions, right? But they have to do their due diligence. I think it is fair to say if a person is going to the top 15, 20 universities, let's just give the visa to them. Why do you have to make it difficult for a person who's going to Harvard? Why you have to make it difficult for a person who's going to Stanford? Why do you have to give them visa appointments? They're going to be successful in your country. Why do you have to let them go through that process, right? Anyways, so I've gotten my F1 visa. Now I'm going for my H1b visa. So I go to my manager, I talk to him like, hey, this is the situation. I do have to go to India. And I told them way before that I have to go to India, even before starting the job, that I will be getting married next year and I will be going to India. And everybody knew that. So I talked to him, and he is a really like accommodating guy. He's been working with a lot of Indians before. He understands the visa situation is broken in India, and he was like super helpful in this case, honestly. So I talked to him that hey, I might not be able to come back immediately because of the visa appointment. He's like, it's okay, we'll be flexible. You can work from home for a month, and that's completely fine. So I go back to India. 9th March is still the date, and I get married. I'm still waiting for the date. I was thinking to try for the emergency appointment, but I never tried for emergency appointment because I'm like, if I don't get the emergency appointment and it's actually the emergency, I'll not be able to apply again. So I'm like, I'm gonna stick with my 9th March appointment date and just go for that. Funnily enough, two, three of my friends, even Hernur from Sing in USA, was in India at that time, and he was getting his H1b, or he was getting his F1 stamp because he is on STEM extension right now. He was getting his F1 stamp because that was expired. So he had to go through the Dropbox appointment thing as well. And people who came after me were able to leave the country before and come back to the US because they got Dropbox appointments, and I never got it. So I'm here still struggling, collecting all the documents like my I-765, my I-797, my I-797, my I-765, all of these approval notice, the forms, and don't worry, I'll leave the link in description of all the documents I took for the visa interview, my pay stubs, what I do, my job duties, my projects I've done before, and how it is relevant to my degree, which is construction management. And even though I talk to all of you guys a lot about these things, I was still like scared. I was still like, uh, it's still a visa interview. What if, like, worst case, what if I get rejected for this visa interview and they do not approve my H1B? And what if I have to stay in the country? I remember my brother in law has been on H1B since 2014 or so, or even 2013 maybe. And he came from India directly from one of the tech companies, from the IT companies. And now I understand the stress of H1B and like this approval notices and all of these things, because it is just so like, even though I was not stressed, I did a degree in the program I'm actually working in. I was stressed about the interview. What if, right? What if I do not get the H1B done? What if I have to apply again? What will happen to my wife who's actually studying here? What will happen to my cats who are here? And in some families' cases, right, like they have kids here, the kids go to school, they have bought houses, and that's just like so stressful. Um, that just like made me really nervous. Regardless of all of that, I did go for the H1B interview on 9th of March. He asked me really basic questions. He asked me, first of all, what company I'm working for, how long I've been working for them, um, how am I liking Arizona as compared to Indiana. He asked me what degree I have done, and he never asked me for any of the documents. I did pass him my passport, the old passport I had, instead of the new one, and I told him that hey, that's the passport with the F1. He cancelled my F1 passport and said like, okay, your visa is approved, you can go. But like for 4 questions, I had to stay in Delhi for 3 days because I'm from Jaipur originally, and I had to go through all of this stress. And I was working from home, but I work in construction industry. Construction industry is really hands-on, and you have to be on site to like deal with a lot of problems which you come across. So once I did go through that interview, it took exactly like 3-4 days for my H1B stamp to come in, my passport to come in, and once the passport came in, I flew the the Saturday after, or I flew the Friday after, one of those two. I flew the weekend after. I came to the US, started working on Monday, and that was it. But now I'll have to do this again if I lose my passport. I have to do this again when I get my H1B renewed, I think. I have to do this again if I go for permanent residency. I don't know. It's just like a stressful thing because H1B also limits me. So this channel which you're seeing doesn't get monetized. I don't care what Social Blade says, but it doesn't get monetized. regardless of like me choosing to monetize or not, YouTube will put ad on it. And on H1b visa, you cannot do any work, which is frustrating, honestly. Like, I have such a big audience. I feel like I could be making a lot of money along with my job, but that just ends up not being the case. Because hey, you're an H1B and you're frustrated. It gives you an option to work in the country, of course, all of that is good, but it doesn't let you live up to the potential. Again, that was my rant. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your comments, like anything you want to share about H1B and the problems you have had with the H1B visa. Please share that. I would love to hear it. I would love to interact with you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this one, and I hope you enjoy your weekend. And just take care. Let me know if you have any questions. See you guys.